Hello there guys, this is AlienButlerBlunders and I'm back today for some more figure reviews. Today I'm looking at two CollectA figures, so it's the 2015 Pliosaurus and the older 2006 Stegosaurus. I've also got a Schleich Anhanguera model from 2015. Okay, so first let's have a look at the Pliosaurus. Now this is a very decently sized model. It was marketed as a deluxe model, and CollectA does that. They have a range of smaller size models, and then some which are scaled about twice the size they should be, or they conventionally would be. And this Pliosaurus is one of them, and it's a nice glossy green color, and they haven't textured the skin too much, which is akin to what a marine reptile would have. They would have smooth skin, like whales, marine mammals today, to reduce friction with the water. So anyway, you can just make out there is some red marks on the side of the body. They're actually supposed to be parasitic lampreys, if it'll focus, and you can see the details of the tail on the two of them there, and there's a like blood-sucking parasitic fish, and that's what actually tempted me to get this model, because I've never seen this kind of thing done in a model before, and it hasn't been done recently either, for many other models I know of. So it's just quite a nice quirk. And there is another hagfish there. So there's three, not hagfish, lamprey there. So there's three in total. I've known of some other YouTubers who have commented that the head on this model isn't too accurate. So there's structure around the eyes. There's some large scales, and there's a funny sort of pad on the side of the head there that there's no fossil evidence to support. So when you look at the skull of this animal, it's a very, very smooth, rounded skull. And I suppose that's a criticism of the accuracy of this animal, that it's someone's got like a forehead on the top of its head, or like a bulge, which wouldn't really have been there. Like Pliosaurus had very, very flat heads. So anyway, the teeth are nice and individually sculpted, and try and get it into the light. You can see the inside of the mouth. There's a nice pink, and there's some throat detail, and anyway, yeah. So it's quite a nice model. I got this one for about 20. It was a bit pricey. It was about 25 pounds, this one, but including delivery, so it was a bit pricey. So I'd probably rate it about 7 out of 10. I mean, it's a very nice marine reptile. And it's supposed to represent Pliosaurus cavani, which is quite a large species from England in the Middle Jurassic. So despite that, and despite those personal reasons for having an interest in this animal, it's just what's the word for it? It's not the most accurate model out there, even though it's a nice bulky animal. So anyway, moving on. This is one of the oldest CollectA models that there are. It's from some of their first models that they produced in the 2000s, the early 2000s, and I remember picking this one up from Sainsbury's. It was about 10 years ago or more, and I had quite a few of their original models from CollectA, but when I was sorting out my collection, I got rid of most of them. But I did keep this one just because I think it's one of CollectA's first decent models, in the sense that, like, even today, it's not the most accurate model, but the paint colors, the coloration, the very well textured skin means it does still stand out quite well today, and it's got quite a dull color compared to some other Stegosauruses out there that usually have like bright red plates. And a big criticism of accuracy is that the tail is supposed to have been horizontal from the back instead of drooping down as it does with old retro paintings like those by Charles Knight and stuff. But looking closer, it's got a nice eye there, nice beak. The feet are mostly accurate. It's got 5 toes at the front and 3 at the back. The front's accurate, but the back should have an extra toe on each foot. But it's not too noticeable, so it's not too bad. And I think they just hit off a really nice colour scheme for it. It looks plausible and believable, and is quite attractive as well. So yeah, I'd probably rate this model about a 7 out of 10. It's a very nice model. It shows good things to come for CollectA, but yeah. So it's not stunning, but it's a nice classic CollectA figure to have, and probably their first decent one. I know that there have been some Middle Jurassic European Stegosaurs. So even though this represents the American species from about 150 million years ago, Stegosaurus, there were some older ones from Europe with simpler plate structures. So they just had quite thinner spines along the back. So there was like Lexovisaurus and Dacentrurus and stuff. But they're also thought to be quite a bit larger than Stegosaurus. Well, in probably like considerably bigger than Stegosaurus. And Stegosaurus was supposed to be something about the size of a rhino, but these were even bigger. These were like the size of small elephants. But I think Stegosaurus lived in a community with a very high diversity of sauropods, which it was competing with for food. So it was probably a smaller, low-feeding animal. But animals from Europe were larger and probably, and they probably didn't compete with sauropods for food, because there was a smaller diversity of sauropods at the time. But admittedly, there were animals like what's the name? Stegosaurus and things like that. But anyway, moving on. This is the only Schleich figure I have, but it's funny enough one of the best pterosaur models on the market. I know CollectA's produced some recent models of Dimorphodon and some other obscure species in recent years. But I think this model, this Anhanguera from 2015, is probably one of the few really decent pterosaur models on the market. I'm not too attracted to the big CollectA models that they've done of the Dimorphodon. I mean, that's probably great for pterosaur fanatics, but I probably want something a bit smaller. Instead of being in the scale of something like this, a smaller scale. So of this size, it's very, very nice model. I'll just remember to get my ruler out. That's the size of them if I haven't shown you. So the Pliosaurus is very large. These ones reach about 15 centimeters long or wide. So anyway, the Anhanguera has a very nice color pattern. It's a nice, not that focus. It's a nice light blue, with white areas on the wing membranes, the patagium it's called, and there's a nice yellow glossy paint on it as well for the scalier parts of the skin and the feet, and it's a nice posture as well for it. It's in a flapping posture, but it does stand up properly. Like most pterosaurs that have been on the market for a while have been quite flat with spread wings. So this appears to be flying, but it also stands up well instead of just being flat on the flat on a surface. So the mouth can open, and there's a red tongue in there, but it's I prefer just to keep it closed. And there is a nice green eye with some pink areas around the face there. It is a really nice pterosaur model. I think it is pretty much accurate as well. It was only made recently, but it's got the pycnofibers, I think they're called, of the fur-like coating which most pterosaurs had, which is a very nice feature. And I'd probably give this figure a 8 out of 10. It's a very, very nice figure, and definitely the best pterosaur figure on the market. That's like commonly available, yeah. So the only criticism of it would be, what's the word for it? It just doesn't seem at the same standard as some of Safari's most recent models. Some of Safari's most recent models have been like very, very plausible, very, very realistic. And I know they've done a pteranodon in a walking posture in recent years, and that just comes across as a more realistic animal. Like these colours are still bold, but they're like dulled down a bit, so it has a more realistic appearance. But anyway, so there we are. Thank you for watching my review today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I should see you in the next video. Thanks again.